welcome to Book Please Podcast. It's Elina here.
Hey guys, it's Amanda.
So, my girl, I heard this time you have something to get off your chest, and it's not me this time.
I feel like we've been posting like more reels, being more active, and I'm like, they're not always going to be nice comments. Like I know that. Like we're very honest, forward. What we think is funny, some people don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about Northwest and her performance, and yes, we said it wasn't our cup of tea, but then people in our comments, getting nasty.
But in our defense, like this thing is twofold here because we weren't poking fun at North specifically. No. Like we were just talking about the concept of like this child, you know, she's a Nepo baby born to very famous parents who gets opportunities that like are taken from other children. And it's kind of sad. And it's one thing when it's like an example of like, let's take Kendall Jenner, for example. She is a model and she is outstanding at her craft. Talented. And yes, maybe some doors opened for her in the beginning because of the family that she was born into, but she is highly respected in her profession. In the beginning, she even wanted to go by just Kendall and drop her last name because she's like, I want to earn it. And she's so talented. And I just feel like, yes, okay, maybe North can get in the door and she will. And there will be so many opportunities for these kids and that's great. But at the same time, she really wasn't fit for this specifically. And there are so many kids that are and would dream to have this role. And that's what we were commenting on.
Yeah, I wasn't knocking her as a person. I'm not trying to make a little kid cry. But she is in the limelight, and I feel like, you know, her parents put her out there. Yeah. She's going to have backlash, and she seems tough.
And I think that, like, public service announcement, okay, we may seem like a little bit, like, turn or like mean or whatever. Our clips that we're cutting are like a funny moment and they don't paint the whole picture, and we just have like a quick snippet, and of course like the around everything that's cut we're like, no, but she's perfect, but this, but that, you know. But I also think that like, oh, and if you're wondering where those comments are, like we have to approve them. So this time around, we left those shits pending for sure. But I will say we always, even the mean ones, like we let them ride. We don't like deny any of our comments. But I think for this specific topic, it was like we didn't want to have a train of hate against like this topic of North and like this whole thing. So we're like, you can just simmer down. Like everybody's like, you have to act like, talk about people your own age. Like she's a child. We know she's a child. And it's like not even her. It's her parents. It's casting. It's everybody else.
Everything we talk about, people are like, you don't know art. You don't have I'm sorry. I didn't know I can't have my own opinion.
I know, because we didn't like Zendaya's Met Gala.
Like, people went in.
Art. Relax. We can just call it what it is if we don't like it. But it's just funny, like, and shout out to our new social guy, Austin, because OMG, killing it. You guys go like, comment, like on our reels and TikToks, because he is just killing the game with these videos. And I mean, they're just a quick moment of what we're talking about. But I will say this, they also know what they're doing with their kids. And there's a bit of a fine line because, for example, last week, Mason Disick, who's Courtney's son, it's the oldest of the siblings' children. He turned 14. He got an Instagram. And I'm like, you know what? I see this two ways. Okay, he's a 14-year-old. What is that? A freshman in high school. All of his friends, which sounds crazy, but all of his friends are probably on social media. I understand that. Like, okay, you're going to be on social media. But I think it's weird. What was weird about it to me was like Kim and everybody posting, go follow Mason. Like, welcome to Instagram. Like, that's fucking weird.
That doesn't surprise me with that family. Like, he's a child star too. You know, he grew up in that. So, I mean, he's going to build followers quick.
But you can't, if it were me as a parent, okay, have your Instagram, your 14-year-old boy, all your friends have it, go on private and keep it between you and your friends. And that's that. You don't need millions of people. You don't know what they're going to say to your kid, what they're going to expose him to, what they're going to send him. You have absolutely no idea.
Courtney's a little nutty. I'm sure she has access and she's like in that. I'm sure
I hope she
seems like
what is she going to control? Millions of people? Like he should be, if she had control.
But they have apps and stuff where parents can control it, parental control. So I think
But his profile is public.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's wild.
I feel like I'm a psycho. So when I have kids, like I'm gonna know where you are. I'm putting a chip in you if that's possible. Like Elon. I'm air tagging your ass. Yeah. Like my kids like gonna hate me. Like literally. Social media, like I'm monitoring that. Any like Facebook, anything I'm reading it too. Yeah. Text messages, I'm getting a copy every time someone says something.
But the truth is, like, we think that in the moment too, we're like, oh my God, like we need it because everyone has it. But now that we're older, like we even wish we had it way later. Like 14 sucks. Like at least we kind of had our childhood and everything before all that.
So I have 2 little sisters. Yeah. I already made their Instagram handle because I wanted to use their names and I didn't want it to be taken when they are of age and can make one. So I will give it to them when the time comes.
You know what I want to do that I've heard? There's a thing that parents do sometimes is they get like as soon as their child is born, they make an email address with their name, like, and then they write little emails to the account. So I can be like, oh, you started your first day of kindergarten. You said your first word. You graduated high school. Like you write little milestones. You write little things throughout. And then when they turn 18, you give them the password.
How cute is that?
I cannot wait to do it. And you
probably do that for your dog.
I'm not going to comment. Little Cash. But I do talk to Cash like a person and everything. And he looks at our reels and all of that. So let him
He's in our reels.
He's in our reels. He's a star. He's in our logo. He's a child star.
Yeah, he's our baby.
Cash is a child star. And you best believe if
he's
Simba.
booklet fan.
Yes, he's a booklet. If a Simba role comes up for my son Cash, like he's going to be in it.
Ears ups already. Like he got the part.
North, watch out. But yeah.
And another thing, last thing I want to say about North, but I saw that they interviewed her and they were asking her, this was back in last year, and what do you want to be? And then she's like, rapper, basketball player.
Yeah.
Nothing about singer, Broadway, none of that.
But that's what it is. That's actually so true and such a great point. It's not like this is your calling, this is your passion, this is your everything, and you're getting these opportunities. Like she's just like, well, whatever is coming her way. Because she was like very into art and prosthetics and makeup at one point, and she again rapping, like what she did with her dad on that album was unbelievable. So I mean, in that respect, yes, for sure,
she has resources. I think she can literally wake up one day and be like, this is what I want to do. You'll have the best people training you. If you want to be an artist, you'll get the best people that can help you vision anything you want to do. So she has a resource. She just needs to find her calling, I would say.
Yes, and do it in silence. Like when, let her be ready for that role. So when she comes out, she earns her respect. Like as a parent, that was a judgment call and it wasn't the best. And you even said too that you heard that like they kind of didn't really even audition her. They were just like,
apparently she didn't audition at all.
The source on this is TikTok, so we don't know. This is
verified
TikTok, I could go down
a rabbit hole, but I heard that she like wasn't competing against anyone else.
Yeah. Do you know but then there's also, which I think, stuff like that happens all the time. So, we know she wasn't like the star that overqualified for the role, but there were also people on TikTok, like this one woman, she went so viral and she was like, my child was like a star. My child was in Cats previously and, could have been blah, blah, blah. And it was this mom and people had their pitchforks and they were rioting and they were like, we're going to we can't believe it. Like, let's see your child, like, put them out there. And then she makes a follow-up video and she pans and she's like, this is my child. And it was her cat. She was like, my kid was in Cats.
I love social media.
It was a fucking cat. And everybody was like, fuck him. Like, so that's why I take it with a grain of salt. Yes. But OMG, that was hilarious.
So yeah, be nicer in our comments.
Yes, be nice.
You catch me on a bad day, I'm gonna curse you out.
We really are like such nice people, and we're like
so
the
nice.
sweetest.
I will cry if you leave me.
We seem so mean on social media. We really do, but like we're just being funny. Like I know we just posted one of me ripping like Harry Styles apart, and like I really don't mean that shit. Like we're just being funny, and like the
Harry Styles.
I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. I still need my mom. Like leave us alone. Next order of business. Okay, let's talk about the Real Housewives news. Real Housewives of New Jersey. It just came out that they will not be filming a traditional reunion for the first time in Housewives history. And when we say that, we mean in the sense of there's not going to be like a sit down where they're all together in a room and they're sitting there with Andy. And basically what they're saying at Bravo is like, it is way too intense, and reunions a lot of times like Andy helps facilitate like an apology or whatever, a discussion, and they basically came out and they were like, there's no place for this after how heated, and they're like, if once you see the season finale, you will know why this has to be this way. But they're basically saying like, it ain't going to happen. They're not all going to sit down in one room. Like we're going to we don't even know what it looks like yet. They don't even know. They're exploring how they're going to film it.
See, to me, it's kind of like sad. Like you're a grown ass women.
Yes.
You can't put things aside just to like continue to do a show that you're doing. Like I guarantee you, I don't think a lot of these women hang out outside of recording.
Yeah.
Especially if it gets this bad.
That's how I look at it. To me, this is a job. And you know what? I'm sorry. Like in this case, I can be bought, bitch. Like how much money do you think they're getting?
Like I like you.
Yes,
I like you.
You don't even have to like them. Go there and fucking say what you mean and whatever. Like we do it all the time. Like I'm sorry. Like we go to jobs and we have to fake the shit and we smile and nod and we show up even if we don't want to be there.
Even if I'm crying at night.
Listen, we all made you exactly, literally day and night. Sorry, not sorry.
We need that
check. Like Austin, don't clip this. Our bosses are watching. But honestly, though, I mean, if they're getting big bucks and we put you here, bitches.
Yes,
so you better sit around and kumbaya or talk your shit and just sit, whatever it is. It's
I want to talk about your dresses, who has the ugliest one.
Yes. Who was it that showed up with like a crown on her head one season?
I thought you were going to say like a superhero. I was going to say that was Melissa.
That was Melissa. She came in a fucking cape. Like that shit, we are waiting. We made you who you are. We pay your fucking bills. You better show up for us. Like literally it is your job. Like how childish. And also, like you said, it's their age. These women are in their 40s, 50s.
Grown.
And like, you can't sit for one day to just film something for work, even if you don't want to say too much. Like that to me is a little and to the point where they're like, there's no way we can sit them down. What are they, fucking rabid animals? Like, are we okay?
I also think about their kids. Their kids are older, and then they're seeing this, and they think it's normal, and it's not. Like, let's grow up. Normal. But then again, I like the drama, so keep it up.
Yeah, honestly, it's definitely toxic, but
have you been watching?
Here for it. I've been watching. I'm not fully caught up yet, but it's a lot of like the things that we had been talking about before unfolding, where it's like a lot of taking sides, friends in the middle, people getting hurt because their friends are, maybe going back and forth between the person they don't like. I felt like it was hard to see, Rachel Fuda, for example, she was getting really upset because her one friend who she Jen Fessler, for whatever reason, I don't know why, she fucking likes this bitch so much.
They seem like they've been friends forever.
She loves Jen Fessler and they've been very intimately close. So this is a different scenario for me. In my opinion, she's hurt by Jen because Jen is like kind of playing both sides and she's almost playing dumb. Like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't say too much. Like, Teresa is somebody in Rachel's eyes who like really did her family wrong. And she really, really like came after them and she did a background check and she's talking shit about the people she loves, about her husband, about whatever's going on. She even called her husband the biggest drug dealer in New Jersey.
I love Rachel, but I after because I'm caught up after watching, she's like, okay, you could be friends with Teresa. I just don't want you talking about my family with Teresa.
100.
So that's she's like, at the end of the day, like you owe me loyalty. So if I don't care. And then she's like, well, she said good things. Like he thinks he's a good father now. And the drug dealing thing she said like was in the past.
Yeah.
And she's like, still, why are you guys talking about my family with me not there?
That's
so
a huge
I get
point.
that. And I feel like that's super important. But I also feel like Rachel, like they all talk shit about each other. Like when Jackie said that she's like, I only have like confident women in my circle, Teresa was saying. And then she's like, oh, did you pick that up in jail? Like they say some like crazy stuff.
Fucked up.
Yeah, they say.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, but they don't like each other. It's not like she's saying it about her. But my thing is, I just think that the way, maybe I didn't really understand until I saw Rachel so emotional, how deep her friendship was with Jen Fessler. So to me, that says like, that's a little bit too close to home for me. Like if I think of it like the way that I confide in you and some bitch is like really made me feel devastated, even if I don't fully have like a right to be as upset. Like if this is my trauma and my trigger, it's like weird that she's like playing in her face like, oh no, I was just sitting on the no, that's a little much for me. But I do get your point. Like if there's that boundary there, yes, I understand.
And kind of like what we said last week, like a friend to everyone is a friend to no one.
Yeah.
So like if you're my inner circle and you're keying it with someone that literally is attacking my family, I don't care what they said. I don't care if they said good things too.
Yeah.
Like if I don't fuck with them, you shouldn't fuck with them.
No, for sure. And my thing is like when no one's around and when the cameras are off, like what are you actually saying? So,
exactly.
you know.
And then I know you didn't watch this episode, but Jennifer and Melissa sat down because, you know, they have issues with like Melissa. Well, not Melissa. Jennifer saying that she saw Melissa kiss someone that she told Danielle and it became a whole thing.
That's so crazy to start a rumor. Backstory, 2 seconds. Started a rumor about Melissa that she was essentially cheating on her man in a car, in the back of a car.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry I said it, but I said it because I was trying to go after Margaret. She's like, so you brought my family into your drama because you wanted to get back at Margaret.
And like after all this tension, I do understand to some regard that like everything is super heightened because there's cameras. It's a lot crazier because of this like reality world and like people probably like egging people on to like get reactions. It's probably draining. It's probably exhausting. But that could really like split up a marriage.
Oh, yeah.
So,
like I said, is it what you want about me? Once you bring up someone I love, family, I see red.
Yeah.
Like when they sat down,
100.
Jennifer said something about Melissa's husband, like called him an a-hole, like something. And I was just like, that's fighting words. Like I would have fucking
100%
flipped. And instead Melissa was like, and she goes, you know, I feel like you have a hard on for my husband. And she's
that's like, so there is nothing like Melissa and Joe. Like they are just this power team and they like are just so like have each other's back. And I love that.
So the last thing I also want to say is, so I was watching today and my boyfriend walks in and I'm like crying. I'm watching
because we cry at everything.
And he's like, what's wrong? I said, they're dropping their daughter off at college and they're crying. So I'm crying and I'm like,
I know. I was actually tearing up too when I was watching them like packing and all that stuff.
So and then the dad's like, you know, you can still come home. You don't got to stay. And the mom's like, stop it. Tell her good luck. And
I have a fun fact about me, which isn't fun, but like when I was dropped off in college by my family, and I literally went to college in state. Like I could be home in 30 minutes, like realistically. But it was like a whole different world. And I had last minute like switched to this school for a better opportunity for journalism. So I was like, okay, I was going to go to school in Florida, live my best life, had a scholarship, had a roommate. And then last minute, I was like, you know what? I really need to do this for my career. I have New York City in my backyard, which is like a hub for journalism. Like I was like really confronting what is going to help my career and like, okay, what I'm like drawn to, like this will be amazing to go to Florida for school.
Of course, yeah.
So I made the choice to stay in Jersey and I was like, I'll build up. And look, I made it, right? Yeah. I did it the right way. I was like, I'll build up my resume. I'll get a great experience in New York, which I did. I worked at iHeart right out of college. And, you know, look where we are now, which I love. But I went in with a random ass roommate last minute, knew nobody. Everybody's getting so excited. My family had just dropped me off. The goodbye with my mom. It was like I was going to China. It was like I was going to war. Like I was going to war. And I was 30 minutes away from my family. And so they dropped me off and I couldn't. And I know my mom like kept turning away to try and leave and like trying to hide how much she was crying. And I held it together. Literally the drama. Like I was in Narnia. So they left. I sobbed. And then that night, everybody in my suite was going out, getting dressed, like this, that, the other. And I was like, oh yeah, like maybe I'll meet you guys later, like whatever. Stayed my first night of college, stayed in bed crying, calling my best friend from home.
What?
We were on the phone. Yeah, that wasn't me. Like I was shell shocked. Like I was so close and like in my little bubble with my life and my family and my home friends. And I didn't know one person at school. And I just was like super uncomfortable. And I just like cried all night. And I really didn't like let it out to my family either because I didn't want them to worry. And then I was perfectly fine. And then like my roommate became like family. Then I got into a sorority. Like everything was amazing. It was the best thing.
So you had a good roommate.
I had an amazing roommate. I did. And like one of her like best friends became my family too. Like that's how I know Tom, who's a friend of the pod. So he was very close, like almost family with my roommate. So we all were like, it was a great situation. But it really like takes that to like just throw you out there. And like, you know, that's why like things now I feel like when I'm like nervous to try them, I'm like, you know what, this will be good for me. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I was a little, I don't know, more independent already by college. That I was just like, my dad dropped me off. My mom just had my sister, so she couldn't come. So just me and my dad road tripping. I went 3 hours away.
My mom would walk because she'd be like, you're not leaving me. Like, it's sick. Like, it's not, you know, borderline unhealthy, but it's like, that's how we are. Like,
but I had friends that I knew already there, so it was comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I felt so alone and afraid. I was so fucking sheltered. Like, sheltered.
My first year away, I had random roommates.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to go home. Yeah. It was bad. I had one girl that like had, you know, she had issues like mentally.
Yeah.
She flooded our apartment.
Oh my
I came home one day from work and I was like, what do I do?
Oh my God.
But then I eventually made friends and like became roommates with people that I knew, and it was way better.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes
like
you live and you learn.
Exactly.
What a time. What a time. Okay. So we had asked you guys what your toxic traits are, because I was just thinking about certain things last week and I was like, let me ask our people. So we posted on social media and we got some seriously good responses from people. Do you want to share your toxic trait first? Should we read some first? What are you thinking?
Let's read some first.
Okay,
I feel like these are a little lighter, like talk about.
Okay.
So someone said, I'm clingy AF. Need constant validation.
Okay. This one, I feel like, who cannot relate to this?
Yeah, I'm beyond needy.
I am so needy in my relationship that like I literally try and get into my boyfriend's shirt so we can both be in the shirt. Like I want to be in
I'm
your
like, I like
skin.
to smell like you, but
can we? We're like laying there and I'm like, no, literally, can we be conjoined? Like it's just how I am. But I will say this. I've never gotten to this point before. I used to be like, when people would text me, I'd be like, oh my God, please stop texting me. I need a minute. Like, give me some mystery. Let me like you. Let me be like, where are you? Like, I would need the chase. I definitely needed the chase. And now that I'm like, you know, that I feel this way, I'm like, oh my God, can we inhale? Like, can we take a sip of the drink together? Like, that is like,
can I eat your food? Can I try your food?
That is the level. Like, when it's that person, it's different. Yes. And you want to be clingy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I need you to breathe me like every.
Quite literally.
If you're eating, I'm eating. Like, I want to do everything together.
Yes.
And people say that that's like unhealthy, but honestly, I don't think it is. I think you're literally with your best friend. Like, 100%. How is it any different? For the validation part, this is like 100% me, because I have date nights with my boyfriend every week. Even though I love to be with him 24/7, I don't know what friends are when I'm in a relationship and crazy about my man.
Yeah.
So I will like get ready, get pretty, and I like to dress like cute. Like, I'll have makeup on, but I like to dress comfortable.
Yeah.
But like cute, sometimes a little, you know.
Yes, girl.
So I'll get ready and then I'll walk out and he'll like look at me and then I'm like, you didn't say I look good. Do I not look cute? And then he'll be like, yes, babe. Like, you know, I was going to wait till you were like fully done.
Yeah.
I'm like one of
no,
those.
but I'll do that too. Like, I'll be like, hello, I need like a whole, even if I'm showing you my nails, I'm like, I need you to like completely fall on the floor. Like, you are out of your mind, obsessed with like, I just got my nails done.
Yeah. Or if you like if I change my hair color and you don't notice, I'm like, oh my God, you're not into me anymore.
Oh my God. No, literally 100%. I'll always be like, do you still love me? Or like one little awkward, like, oh, I only got 2 kisses instead of 3. Like, are we good? Like, have you seen those memes that are like, it's like, you're going to be walking down the aisle and you're going to be like, do you still like me? Like,
are you sure? Are you positive you want this?
Like, you love me?
So that one brings me to mind just because I feel like it's very similar.
Yes.
But for me, I put that my phone is always on do not disturb because I don't want to be bothered. And I get like this when I'm like in love, in a relationship, like I'm with my person. Like, I don't look at my phone. I don't need to. If you're dying, I'm not the one to call. My phone's literally on do not disturb. And I feel like also, I don't know, I like to disconnect.
But it's so funny because when we first like started texting and all of that stuff, I thought that your phone, like, can you just clarify for the people that I literally thought you were always on, chronically on Do Not Disturb. And I literally one day was just like, bro, listen to me. Your mother's probably like, where is my daughter? Like, what if an emergency happens? What if somebody needs to call you like this, that, the other? And you're like, yeah, like it's off for like my boyfriend and like my mom or like whatever it was.
So people that I can like deal with all the time, like important people, I get notifications. So it's just for everyone else.
So if you see yourself on Do Not Disturb on Amanda's phone, then you didn't make the cut. Just so you guys know, I'm now I'm in the circle.
But you still see when I'm on Do Not Disturb. But if you message me, I get a notification.
But yes, but I don't see when you're on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, you don't? Oh, maybe I turned it off for you because you gave me shit about it.
Yeah.
But even
I thought you turned it off for me because you loved me so much that I didn't bother you anymore.
Even if it's on and you see it, your messages still come through. Because there's a setting where you can like let people come through even if you are on that.
Okay, got it. Well,
I want to put it back on now just so you know.
Oh no. Please no. The anxiety. What if I can't reach you for something?
It's your turn. You got to give me one.
Okay. I have one of my toxic traits is like no secret. I am always late. And
she was on time today.
You know what? I've gotten a lot better. And when there's certain things I'm like, can't miss, can't be late, fine. I won't be late. But I will say, like, I think it's also tied to like being a little bit self-conscious, being anxious. Like I'm like getting ready and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I can set aside all the time in the world. It's like a combination of two things. It's my anxiety and being like, oh my God, like I planned everything out. I had all this time. And then I'm like changing my outfit 100 times and end up in the same thing. Or I'm like fixing something on my makeup. Like it's like this weird thing that I go through. And I'm like, I need to just get over it and just walk out the door. Yeah. And the other thing is the universe. It's not always me. Sometimes it's you, bitch. I'm looking at you.
I'm like, well, what are you going to tell me because there's traffic?
No, like some random thing. Like all of a sudden, my dog is going to like vomit, or like some crazy thing's going to happen. The neighbor's going to knock and be like, "There's a fire next door. Like, come help me put it." Like, there's always the most crazy things that happen right when I need to leave, and it does happen quite often to me for some reason.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm kind of like anxious and have anxiety. Yeah. But I have more anxiety like making someone wait. Yeah. Or like, I don't care how I look. I'm leaving that door to make sure I'm on time or early because I just would feel bad. I would literally start crying if I'm like 5 minutes late to an appointment because I'm just like, they're not going to see me. Or like, my friend's going to be annoyed. Or like, you know, I'm already on a thread. So my anxiety is why I have to be on time. Like I feel bad about like people's time. And that might be because of my profession being a recruiter. Like when I call people, they're like, wow, you called me right on the dot. I'm like, yes, because you're busy. I'm busy. Like let's just, so it could be related to that.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have another one you want to share?
Sure. I mean, I know I put a few in here, but someone else said I'm always right. That's toxic. You're not always right.
The comment is wrong. We're only saying we're giving this person shit because we know who commented it, but that's fine if that's what you want to believe. Well, hey, you commented on my story when I asked the question and you said nothing, I am perfect. But you're actually right in this scenario. You said something funny in there about stress.
Yes, that's actually the next one I was going to say.
Okay.
So I ignore things that cause me too much stress. So and it's toxic, I would say, because I should address it. I should face it head on. Instead, I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm Xing it out. I'm deleting social media because I don't want to be bothered with it. Mm-hmm. I just want to protect my peace that I think running away from it is the answer. Yeah. So I'm working on that, but I still do that.
I think if there's some sort of stress that's like a weird thing lingering in my mind, like, oh, I have to like, I got a weird, like one time I got like this random off reading like on a blood test and my doctor was like, oh no, I think that was because of like A, B, and C, like we can just do it again because you were a little sick. I avoided that shit like the plague. It ended up being completely normal and fine when I redid it, but it's like that I stress myself out. Or like if there's something random like that I need to like just take care of in my apartment and go through a box, like, okay, yes. But for me, maybe this is like a little off of what you're saying, but if I have something with somebody like, and it's somebody important to me, I cannot eat, sleep, breathe if I don't handle it. Same. Like if I have like just a weird thing with my partner, with my family, with one of my best friends, like I will not be able to focus. I just need somebody, and my boyfriend has been amazing about it. Like one time it was like over something silly where like whatever we were talking about. And then he texted me and he was like, I love you though. And like, I'm like, that's just what I need. Cause I need somebody to be like, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Yeah. And for me, I can't focus. I can't read. I can't drink. I can't take a sip of damn water until that's resolved.
I think it's a millennial thing because I think Gen Z or like anyone under that, they're carefree. They don't give a fuck. Yeah. They're like, I'm going to Starbucks. I'm getting to work when I get to work. Right. Meanwhile, I'm like, I need to be there on time. I'm getting that shit delivered. Yeah, I feel like I think millennials just have, we were born in such a weird time. Like social media was becoming a thing. Yeah. Technology was good. You know, we had childhoods, but then like we have good, not saying Gen Z don't have good work ethic, but they're more like, they care more about their health, like mental health, where they're more like, oh, if that stresses me, I'm not doing it. I
need peace.
I'm switching jobs, or I'm not even about it. And I can't be like that. And I wish I could.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I just feel like when certain things are up for me, I need them handled because I malfunction. I cannot function. I need every person that's like has a problem or whatever, or something's happening. I need you to be like, everything's okay. We're fine. But this, like, I need you to like have like a script that you read off of, like to tell me that you're good. Otherwise, like I'm so highly unwell.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping. I'm thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I look over at my boyfriend like, how can you sleep?
You know what? The other thing that's fucked up, like these people can go to hell. If you text somebody and you say like, we need to talk, or I need to talk to you later, I am fucking dying until I'm
hanging up what I'm doing. I'm calling you.
Stupidest thing of life. Don't do that shit to me.
Shout out to my HR Karen. She'll message me and she'll be like, hey, do you have
HR?
Shout out. She'll be like, hey, do you have a minute for me? And I'm like,
am I getting fired?
I go, what did I do? Like today she called. Yeah. She's like, oh no, I just want to pick your brain about. I'm like, you can't start a message with that. I need you to say ... not important ... So I'm like, I have a minute for you anytime.
This is like a PSA. Like, honest to God.
Love you, Care Bear.
OMG. But yeah. Okay. I'll give you another one of mine. Okay. I am not good with confrontation. Super toxic of me. And I try and live by this quote that I've heard that's like helpful. That's like, if you just try to keep the peace around you, you're still not dealing with the peace inside you. And I feel like that's it. It's so powerful. And it's something that I try to remind myself of. But it's really hard for me to like, it's almost like I get paralyzed from speaking to like spit it out, or I'm so quick to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, or are you okay? Or I just cannot like address something and stand firm for myself.
I don't agree with that. I've seen you stick up for yourself.
You have.
You know, on a three-way call once.
And I was I almost dropped the phone because I almost blacked out.
I was listening. I was like, yeah.
But you also have taken this story and you make it like I wasn't mean.
But you were like, I'm going to hold my ground.
Because, and I'll tell you why. When it's something that's for me specifically a personal issue, and it's somebody it also has to be somebody I really am like, this is a person that I love and care about, and I can't deal with us not being good.
Okay.
Like my partner, my family, my best friends, like whatever. But when it interferes with my family, my friends, or business, then I will say something.
Got it. Okay. You know, so it's more like stranger thing.
Like if I need to deal with something that's unprofessional, then I'm going to speak up.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. Like family, friends, I feel like it's a little easier to be forward with someone you like love, and you know, because I feel like if you're in my life, I want it to be easy to talk to you.
I'm trying to hint at the scenario that you're referring to. It wasn't quite exactly dealing with my job, but it was for something that was, you know, just, you know, something that had to
took care of that.
You acting like you are so funny because I really was not that crazy, but I think you just never heard me like.
Yeah, you're usually so sweet and sugarcoat things. Yeah.
I was kind of like, look, no hard feelings, but A, B, and C. Yeah, like, you just gotta sometimes.
And I was like, FUCKYOU
because because that's the side you were rooting for. But anyways,
but I would say too, like when it comes to that, I'm more like. I'm kind of like a poke the bear person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you know, I'm like, okay, but if you keep going and keep going, I lose it. And then I'm like, it's so out of character of me, and I'm like, oh, why'd I get like that? But I'm like, you can't keep it's the Latina in me. I just freaking
yes, I love it. If anything, for me in that regard, it would be just a little bit of a passive aggressive something that I just kind of keep until somebody's like, oh, this, and I'm like, oh no, I just blah blah blah. But like I won't be direct.
Oh, I shake. I'm like,
I shake.
You don't get out of my face.
Oh no, I don't shake like that. I shake of anxiety and fear. But
oh no, I'm like, I'm classy. I can't hit you. I need you to hit me first.
I'll read one more.
Okay.
So this person said their toxic trait is accepting less than I deserve.
Oh,
and this breaks
that
my
person
little
needs
heart.
Therapy.
And
no, I mean they help you build that. You know.
No, this is so sad, and I feel like so many people go through this in life, and I think this is what it is. When you're in it, it's so hard, and you think it doesn't get better. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's your lover, whatever it is, you're thinking like, okay, if I, lose this friend, then like I lose all these plans. I lose like who do I have? Like this, that, the other, and you like almost sit and you convince yourself of these things. And the same thing with a partner. And I feel like once you realize that this is not your story, like there's so much more out there. Life is so much bigger than this one scenario. And you didn't go through all the things you went through in your life for like this to be the person that you end up with, for this person to be your friend that you're close with. Like it, at the end of the day, like a little pain now and discomfort to get out of that situation for long-term peace and happiness always.
For sure. I feel like we've all been through that.
Know your worth. Journal, like manifest, say your affirmations, picture the life you want. Therapy's
I love, you guys know I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I think you're feeling down, therapy's great. You're happy, therapy's great. Yeah. I just, and it makes you know your self-worth. Yeah. I literally have left relationships because I'm like, I'm comfortable, but I want more.
Right. You're not
I deserve
fulfilled.
better.
You're not fulfilled. And that takes a lot. That's when you're really learning, because if there's nothing wrong, it's so much harder to like step away.
Yes.
And then you're like, is there, whatever age I am or this or that, then you just start to think. So that's a really like commendable moment for a person like in that situation to be like, you know what? It's still not serving me though. So I love that. You're a queen.
I try.
Okay.
Thanks, Seth, my therapist.
Yes. Shout out Seth. Shout out Julie, my girl. Should we get into our book?
Yes.
So this week we read.
No.
OMG. Sarah J. Maas, turn off this pod right now because things are going to get hot and heavy apparently. We read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. We read chapters 32 to 44 this week. How are you feeling, honey?
Well, if I wasn't reading this for the pod, it would be on my DNF list.
Wow.
I would not finish it. It's just, I feel like there's chapters where I'm like, oh, this is exciting. And there's chapters where I'm like, can we move on? Yeah. Let's move forward. And there's a lot of things happening. And I feel like I could be fantasied out already. And maybe I'm over it. But I feel like it's not, I don't know, it's not doing it for me anymore.
I think for me, it was taking a while to get to this point of like where the chapter, and it's kind of like what you were saying, where the chapter left off, where our section, we stopped at chapter 44. I was so hooked and I was like, oh my God, now I want to see what happens. But it took a lot to get there. Like we're going through a lot of this journey and whatever. And for me, we're more than halfway through this book or about halfway through this book. And I personally, being the romance girly that I am, I'm like waiting for Feyre and Rhysand. Like we've been shipping these two and nothing has happened yet halfway through the second book. So in that respect, I'm like, let's get it moving, like keep it saucy, keep it fun. And so we're going through a lot of like the little like war moments or like getting from one place to the next. And it's like, let's fucking go. Cause that's what I'm waiting for. And where we left off was like when it was that starlight night or starfall happening. And like, there was this moment between them after a lot of like tension and weirdness and like we're ready for it to happen, and then that's where we stopped reading. And then I was like, OMG, like now I'm back in it.
Yeah, for me, like the book part, like finding the book and proving to these queens that they want help, it's just I'm like, I don't care. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we get to the war?
Like,
I want to know
half of the book of breathings. Now let's go get the other half.
The most exciting part for me was when they stole the book and the person was like, now I want all three of your heads. I was like, yeah, go kill someone.
I was like, take the book and go sit on Daddy Reese's lap. Okay?
Exactly. Let's read it together. No,
it's a bedtime story.
But I love, like, he's my favorite character by all means. Like, Farrah's great and all that, but she bores me. I don't like her comparing him to Tamlin. This man will like do anything for her.
She's not comparing him. I think she's just so conflicted because of how it all worked out, and she's still letting go of like being like, okay, like it's almost like she still feels like she feels like she's cheating in this relationship. So even though like she's far gone from that, it's a little bit odd. But we did get the half of the Book of Breathings in this.
Yes.
And that was huge. And then I loved the part where the Wraith like saved the day because she had been, and look, everything comes back. So it's like, you know, who didn't come back though? Who were you telling me before that you were waiting to hear about?
Tamlin, like, why is it only about Farrah? Like, I want to know what Tamlin's doing. I want to know if he's seeing anyone else. I want to know he's trying to get her back.
Is he
like,
with that
what?
Trying
what
to
is going on?
Well, they were hinting too at like this. There could also be not just worrying about the King of Hybern, but like an intercourt war. And I'm sure that that's what's happening. And at first, Tarquin, when they got to the summer court, was like, "I will keep your secret. I won't say anything unless like directly asked that you were here." Everything was great. He gave Farrah a jewel.
But now, since they stole a book, he's going to tell Boy Tamlin.
He sent like these blood rubies. He's like, "You're all dead to me." That was good. That was good. But I definitely just I was just clinging to these moments with Rhysand and Farrah at this point. And like, that's what I'm waiting for to like get me.
I'm already like, he deserves better.
Oh my God, that is you for sure.
Because I love, like, I know he's related to Moore, but like, I love her personality. She's bubbly, cute, feisty. Yeah. You know, like, I love like how her banter is so
funny.
You know, and I feel like Farrah's like this little, like, maybe I don't like being in her head.
I think for me, like, I think that I have this thing that I do when I read a book is like, I almost am the main character. So like, if it's a girl. So like, I feel like, I guess I'm Farrah. Like I'm living through the days with Farrah. So like, I'm like, I want Rhysand. So like I could, when you're like, oh my God, he should, you know, Moore is perfect for him. I'm like, how could you do that to us? Like this is,
I know.
This is that. This is my man. Like this is my man. So in my head, I'm like, that's going against us. You know what I mean? So I just don't think like
I like Nesta. Like I like strong personalities. I don't like. I feel like Farrah's too like hot and cold for me. Like there's times where I'm like, oh, go get a girl. Like I'm with it. Okay, she's about. And then she's like, and then I'm like, oh, Tamlin this and
Yeah. That's the book recap right there. The analysis. Clip it, Austin.
Farrah, I need some spiciness. So the good reads is not looking good right now for you, girl. Them ratings.
I'm really dead. What other big parts in this are we missing?
I liked when the queens were like talking. We're kind of like I would say talking down on like Farrah, and and my boy Rhys was like, "You better show my girl some respect."
Yes.
Calm it down.
Yes.
Or when that guy called her a whore, and he was like, "You better apologize." I'm like.
That
and you haven't slept with him yet
was such a moment, and she was like almost devastated. First of all, she was so fucking hot and heavy, and they were only just like staging this thing. And like I love how she saw him as his true self and everything like that. But they were like fully like just staging this so they could steal the orb and show the mortal queens Valeris as proof to be like, look, we're being honest here. But that moment for Farrah, like she was just like, you know, it's crossing a line of playing pretend. Like she almost wanted it, and when she was like recalling it back later, she almost got emotional. Like when she was calling him her friend, like she's like, I almost wanted it to be real. And I'm like, bitch, he told you to lick his body in the last set of chapters, and you were like, I'm going to bed.
Oh, I can't with her.
So I'm just like, can you just hop on Daddy and let's get it going?
Facts. Like, I feel like they need this.
Yeah.
I need her to get pregnant, have a powerful kid, and get married.
And the other thing that we learned too was with the mortal queens that when they were kind of talking about it, Rhysand was like, what can I use as proof? And it ended up being that he's going to try and show them Valeris through the truth orb. But also we learned that Miriam, who's Jurian's ex-lover, is on a secret island living with her now lover in a world that's where mortals and fairies coexist.
Yep. And they're happy.
Yeah.
And they don't want anyone to know about it.
And this is like the piece that like Rhysand really is this person, and they reference him as this dreamer. Like he's truly just wants peace and equality and all these things. And he like wanted to preserve that. So he's like, I'm not going to show them that. But that was an interesting part that we learned. And the king was like, when they would talk about the king, they were like, teasing that maybe Jurian would want to resurrect Miriam. And I'm like, Miriam is literally on this island with another man. Like, so it's a whole other situation. It's
good karma for him being a jerk.
Yeah. You stay in that ring, Jurian.
I mean, I hope it gets better. Right now, I'm just like a little, but.
Yeah, I can't. I think I'm really getting hooked again because of like how we're finally getting there when they're having this night with the starfall.
The queens are going to get back to them soon.
Yeah, everything's kind of coming together. And now they're about to have their moment. I didn't like, it made me sad that like he said that Amarantha, used to make him like do things on that night.
That's why the whore word was a lot.
Yes. I felt it was kind of tainted for them to have a moment on that night when he has so much trauma from it, but maybe they can.
Oh, see, I don't even care. Like where the book ended for me, I'm just like,
no, I was into it.
Elsie, not me.
Yes, when he heard that man, Kier, call Feyre a whore, he lost it. And I was like, this is everything. Like that was so hot. It was everything. And he didn't care because she was like, well, you were telling me to control myself. And he was like, but that is a line for him. And I loved it. He's like, I'll risk it all.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm watching like this is like a young book. Like I'm just like,
yeah, you're waiting.
If this was real life,
yeah, you would have been
they're celibate.
Well, on that note, let's wrap it up, honey. No pun intended. Do you want to plug our
the next books?
Oh yeah, for next week. I almost forgot because
I go next book. You see, I'm on to the next Simon chapters.
Get out of here. Okay, there are people that are just so mad right now because they worship these books. So like, let's be nice.
Weirdos.
No, I don't feel that way. I love it.
I said what I said.
So for next week, we're going to be reading chapters 45 to 55 in A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Girlie, will you please plug our socials, honey?
If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe. We would highly appreciate you. And then we're also on TikTok and Instagram at Book Please Podcast. Thanks, guys.
Bye.